The wellness industry doesn't actually want you well. It wants you worried. It wants you worried that you might not be. Because calm doesn't sell, insecurity does. And the cruel irony is the stress of trying to be healthy is the very thing that's making you sick. Today, we're cutting through the noise, not to bash wellness, but to reclaim it. To remind you that healing isn't a lifestyle brand, it's biology. At SoundEmbrace, we dive into Sound Matters, where science meets soul and curiosity leads the way. Each episode dives into the real, research-backed, and deeply human ways sound shapes healing, leadership, and the art of living a life you love waking up to every day. Because sound isn't just something you hear, it's something you become. I'm Danielle Hall, and today I'm going to say the thing most people in wellness will not. The wellness industry doesn't actually want you well. It wants you worried. It wants you worried that you might not be. Because calm doesn't sell, insecurity does. And the cruel irony is the stress of trying to be healthy is the very thing that's making you sick. Today, we're cutting through the noise, not to bash wellness, but to reclaim it. To remind you that healing isn't a lifestyle brand, it's biology. Before we dive in, take a deep, slow breath, breathing in, and let that go. And ask yourself, when you think of wellness, what comes to mind? Is it peace or is it pressure? Is it presence? Or is it perfection? Notice when you're asking yourself these questions, notice how your body reacts to the word. That reaction tells the truth about your relationship with it. Let's step into the lab for a minute. We're going to start off with a couple of facts. Let's dive into the research for a minute. The global wellness market is worth over $5.6 trillion, okay? And somewhere between green juice and glow-ups, wellness became another form of consumption, one that preys on the stress it claims to solve. Dr. Anna Lemke calls this the dopamine economy. Every new product, podcast, or powder promises a little hit of control, but over time, those quick highs flatten the brain's reward response. The result, the more you chase health, the less you actually feel it. The body doesn't care how optimized you look. It only cares whether you feel safe. Constant monitoring, the daily step counts, the sleep scores, and clean eating checklists activates the same stress circuitry you're trying to quiet. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, your cortisol factory, guys. Studies show that health anxiety and perfectionism elevate inflammatory markers and dysregulate heart rate variability. So you can biohack your morning routine down to the millisecond, but if you're doing it from fear, your biology still reads danger. Now, as I'm sharing all of this, you know if this is you. If this is not you, then this message is not for you. But you know who you are. You know what you're doing here. You know if this is for you or not. Now let's talk about the phone in your hand. According to the Pew Research Center, the average adult spends nearly 7 hours a day consuming digital content, including wellness inspiration. Kind of like this. The constant comparison loop keeps the amygdala on high alert and lowers dopamine D2 receptor sensitivity, the same neurological pattern seen in addiction. In other words, chasing calm through screens literally trains your brain to need more stimulation to feel okay. And that's not self-care. That's self-surveillance. Here's the kicker. Belief itself changes physiology. Research on the placebo effect shows that expectation can trigger real biochemical healing. But here's the dark side, the nocebo effect, where the fear of illness or imperfection produces real symptoms. When every scroll reminds you of what's wrong with you, your body is listening to that. You literally worry yourself unwell. Story time. I once worked with this woman, and she was doing everything right. Organic eating, 6 a.m. hot yoga, $200+ a month supplements, digital detoxes, all of these things scheduled in her calendar. And yet, she couldn't sleep. Her digestion was wrecked. She said, Danielle, I'm doing all of the right things and I still feel terrible. When she came in for her first sound bath, she kept trying to do it right. Adjusting her blanket, checking her smartwatch, analyzing every sound that I was facilitating. I mean, it really took her a while to be able to just lay down and close her eyes to experience the dang thing. Halfway through the session, she gave this really deep, heavy sigh. She sat up, she looked at me and just mouthed the words, I give up. And she stood up, she rolled up her mat, and she left. That was her first sound healing experience. She came back the next month and she said, before we even began, that she's ready to give this a real shot. So she laid down, she took off her smartwatch, she allowed herself to lay down in the experience and fully surrender. By the end of the session, her body was relaxed. There's this look, if you've ever been to a sound bath and you've noticed, there's how people look before the session and after the session. And it was like she was glowing. She was smiling. She realized wellness isn't about controlling the body. It's about listening to it. She did what she needed to do that first sound bath session and empowered herself to evolve out of the room. But then she came back. She knew that part of this was about how she was trying to reach perfection and how she was trying so hard to just do it right, that really just doing it right is meeting yourself exactly where you are. So let's get into the practice today. If it is safe for you to close your eyes, I invite you to do so. And inviting in a deep breath in through your nose, breathing in, and exhale through your mouth with a sigh. Again, in through your nose. Letting out your sigh. One last time. And now allowing yourself for the next minute to simply sit in silence without reaching for another fix. There are no checklists, no mantras. I invite you to simply be. And when you're ready, you may slowly open your eyes. The wellness industry sells formulas. Sound reminds you there's no formula, only frequency. Your body isn't an algorithm to optimize. It's an orchestra to tune. The moment you stop performing wellness and start feeling it, your biology listens. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to invite you to become a part of the SoundEmbrace family, a community of sound embracers taking personal ownership of their lives and supporting one another in living lives they love waking up to every day. Stay curious, listen deeply, live a life you love.